tuned into Sacred Erotic Poetry, Sacred Sexuality and Ascension with Gila and Nehemia. I'm so glad to be here today. And as always, before we begin, we will just close our eyes. So if you're driving, you can pause and do it another time. We're going to close our eyes and we're going to take 3 deep breaths deep from our diaphragm. And I encourage you to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth so you can hear a sound. So we'll do it 3 times now. And we're calling in our angels, our guides, God, Source, Universe, to assist us in this very special time of a huge portal opening as we are shifting, making huge, huge shifts and leaps and bounds. As we step into our power, we leave the old and step into the new earth, beginning to sow those seeds and create that strong foundation, calling in our power animals, our ancestors, our light team, our higher self, God, Source, Universe, Mother Earth, Father Sky, to assist us in this transition as we up-level individually and in togetherness. Aho, and so it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, all of you who are listening. Today is the 30th of September, and the moon is in 22 degrees Cancer, ruling the chest and the stomach. So I would definitely invite you to really open up, do some stretching, and really open up into both your power and your heart chakra, your solar plexus and heart chakras. And we are moving into the new moon in Libra. It's also Mercury retrograde. So this particular podcast is going to be about releasing all of those inner stories so that we can totally step into our greatness. I am doing a new moon activation in Libra on the 6th, which is the new moon, at 7 p.m. Israel time, and I'll be putting a link in the details. So I am inviting you. You are formally invited to join me. There is a registration process, so I will put the link in here so you can join if you love my podcast and I am resonating with you. So you may be feeling these breakdowns, these real like things that have been bothering you are just starting to fall apart. You're starting a new journey. You're looking at things in a slightly different perspective. It could even be old situations coming up to be renewed in a different perspective. So however that translates for you, we are all being invited to step into that fully, to really let go of our limited beliefs and to begin a new path. And really focus on the 5D, new earth, however you want to see this, your deepest desires, your dreams coming true because you're finally accepting that this is what you desire and letting go of the fear, letting go of the stories, letting go of the old patterning that just doesn't serve you anymore. There's no need to continue to rehash, right? It's more of the desire to heal and move forward. And when we can continue to go over the deep stuff that's holding us back, but at a certain point we're gonna have to take action, take a step into our dream life, and whatever that is for you. It could be changing a residence. It could be taking on a new opportunity. It could be anything, writing your book, publishing it, connecting with organizations and like-minded people. All of these things or more, there may be things I haven't mentioned, really stepping into your abundance codes and into your unconditional love codes. These are all deep within you. It's like unlocking your own wisdom, unlocking the having the key to unlock everything that is inside you, because really, the kingdom of heaven is within. All that we need is within us. As we unlock these keys, we're able to open up our deeper wisdom and our deeper codes. So, we're no longer allowing the resistance to lead us. We're moving into flow. And, really feel into that in your body. And if you're feeling something right now, it's like, how can I step deeper into flow? I've been telling a few people about this, and I've been reading uh, this book by author Arthur Osborne. It was written about Ramana Maharshi. He's from my region in India, where my parents are from, and he went into silence at a pretty young age. I think he was like in the later years of high school or some sort of study like that. He just left his life and decided to be an ascetic, and he just went into silence. He just like didn't talk, and he was in self-inquiry. And I'm really into self-inquiry, and actually it's been a practice I've been doing all along. I was really interested in it, especially in college, learning about Aristotle and the whole way of discourse and questioning. And I really do that for myself. Really question my own actions. Is this the right thing for me to do? Is it not the right thing for me to do? I really try not to be an autopilot. Like, I'm very conscious of my decisions. I'm conscious about what I try to do, and sometimes it's challenging. It's really hard to always be conscious and to always ask and be honest. So, sometimes you got to take a step back. And taking those step backs could just be in stillness, to just be. Just like I used to really like looking at my animals, how they just sit, or even, people that I've known just sit outside and they're just looking. I'm like, what are you thinking about? And they're like, I don't know. And they're maybe not thinking about anything, and it's just like, how can we be in that state of presence? How can we consciously decide to be in that state of presence and just allow source to move through us? Because we have this divinity within, and we know that. We know that for a fact, that we are divine beings. And I saw this great sticker yesterday in my neighborhood. We're either spiritual beings living a human experience, or we're human beings living a spiritual experience. So whichever way works for you, or there may be other ways. So whichever it is that whichever path you're on, it's unique to you. And as you allow, movement to flow, your creativity to flow, the divinity to flow, the love to flow through you, the peace to be within you, like then it makes your life so much easier, and you're not in resistance. We're constantly, I feel this way too. It's like, I don't have XYZ. And when I don't focus on that, and I think about what I do have, and the opportunities do come to me, and the mindset that I do want to nurture and nourish and cultivate, like, that's when I'm in the state of flow. So what does that mean? Let's give you like 3 takeaways today, right? So that could mean affirmations, and these are things that I do. So I'm just sharing them with you. Affirmations, just looking in the mirror and saying that I'm loved, I'm prosperous, I have everything that I need, I am divinity, and really repeating that to myself. I haven't shared this with anybody, but I put it in my phone as a calendar appointment. Not busy, but I'll just see it every single day. It's almost like looking at affirmations, and I decided, oh, maybe I'm going to put more. So I'm going to just look at that all the time and remember that that is my truth. That is my reality. And so that begins to dissipate any kind of resistant thought that's like, I don't have XYZ, I don't have enough love, or I don't have enough wealth. It's more about being in the state of mind that there is enough, because that is your reality. Your reality depends on your thoughts. And the more that you focus on the depth that you already have and your gratefulness of what you have, then it really helps you to move into a different state of mind and a different reality. And I know you know all this, but how can you implement it? How can you be okay with, like, I started a new diet and I said I wasn't going to eat bread, but you know what? I ate bread today. And I was like, well, that didn't work out. And I was like, well, how can I make it better? So I just ate less than I would normally. And I tried out different things, like eating a carrot afterwards, like trying to, like, if there's some kind of food I want immediately, What is it that I'm really asking for? This is the mode of self-inquiry. What is it that I really need? Some kind of comfort food? What do I really need? Do I want sugar? What is it that I need? How can I get it in other places? How can I supplement my diet or change my diet so I feel better about my life? And so how can I drink more water? These are just things that I ask myself. So I'm just asking you, what makes you feel good? What is something that you're desiring to shift into? And what's one step you can do? And if you fall back, like I gave you the example of the bread. If you fall back, that's okay. See what will work for you. See how maybe to make that change a little bit in small nuggets so it becomes more attainable, and maybe not cold turkey, because I tend to make decisions and I just stick to them, and sometimes I don't, and so when I'm not, I have to really think about, is it the right decision for me? Should I not make it like a blanket statement, like I'm, you know whatever, I'm not eating bread at all? Or should I just say, okay, I eat it sometimes, like twice a week, and eventually I'd like it to be 0 times a week. It's just decide what makes you feel good and what pace you want to go at something. Let's say you want to start a business and you want to start a spiritual business and you don't know how to go about it. Well, the first thing is usually what I do is I look for a mentor that can help me. Or I just write down the things that I'd like to do in this business, what really turns me on. Like I get clear. And sometimes having clarity means having time to be with yourself in silence, to write it down, to daydream, to think about it, to just think about all the possibilities and all the different experiences that you had that made you happy, and how you helped somebody to be happy, and how you want to use those gifts that you intrinsically have to share with the world. So that could be writing, that could be healing. Maybe you're doing Reiki. Maybe you know a variety of meditation techniques that have really helped you. Maybe you are an artist and you want to share your art with the world, or you're not even sure about sharing it, but you know that it makes you feel good. So if you're doing something that makes you feel good, perhaps you can share that with somebody else. And maybe it's not a business at this point, but it's just a sharing and an exploration. Use the words that make you feel good and to do the things that make you feel good, because that's actually going to be our new currency in the 5D earth, in this new earth. So if we continue to do the same things and think in the same ways that we used to, we're not changing. And if it's change and transformation that you're desiring in your life, then we have to change with it. And so to boil it down to 3 things, it's one, take a specific thing that you're doing right now that is not making you feel good. Maybe it's you're not having enough exercise. So say to yourself, okay, every day I'm going to exercise. And if I don't do it one day, I will do it the next day. And maybe I'll just do it for a minute, and then I will just add a minute each day. And I'm being really serious about this. Like just 5 minutes. 1 minute can change your life. So 5 minutes can exponentially change, right? So like when we do things in small increments over time, it builds into habits and practices that give us sustainable change. Just like my previous example, sometimes going cold turkey is good in the short term, but it's not good in the long term. So we're not going to have long-term lasting effects. It's like if you analyze any kind of data, which everyone analyzes on some level. So how did you do? Take a day, put it in a spreadsheet. How did I do today with this particular goal setting? How did I do? Did I do it? Did I not do it? What made me not do it? Like, give it a project, because you're your best project. If we don't really monitor our own thoughts and our own behaviors, we're not going to make changes. And when we're starting to think about maybe creating a business, there's lots of data, there's lots of information we're going to have to process. So begin small. And as you make small wins, you have the foundation to make bigger jumps and leaps, because you have a process. It's something I'm learning, and I want to just share with you, because if you don't have processes, then it makes it difficult to implement new things or share your process with other people if they're going to be working with you. And that's just like, it's not necessarily even in a business. It's like, the way that I make food with my kids, we each take something that we're going to cut if there's something we're cooking, or even if it's salad we're making, edge vegetable, we put it together and then we eat it together. So it's a process that we have. Then people wash the dishes, they clean the dishes. I mean, this is a process. So everything in our life are actually processes, but what the way we do it together brings us together, and it helps us to bond, and it creates safety, and it creates also recognition. So everyone's being seen and heard. If somebody doesn't like this vegetable or that vegetable, we won't put it in. And we think about it, we talk about how we can make it work for everyone. So these are all ways of being, of sharing, of caring, of working together, of community. It begins, I'm just showing you an example. It begins in the house, and then it can reach out to larger areas. So I'd love to have a community of people that do things like that with their children, with their spouse, their partners, with each other, but it begins with you. The first thing that happens is inside your own mind, in your body, in your thoughts, in your environment. We cannot change anything until we change ourselves. So I feel like that's super important. And so when we're looking to change something, or when we're upset about some, governmental policies or countrywide things, with the pandemic or various things that go on, it has to begin with ourselves. Are we really listening to ourselves? Are we paying attention to our needs? Are we living the life in our house, in our minds, that we want to live? And how do we up level into that kind of living, so that then we can affect change on the planet by just living our best life? So coming back to this new moon, I feel like it's about really, being clear about what we want, what our processes are, reassessing, taking the time, not to take the leap, but to just go through everything. What's working, what's not working, what can I try that's different, and just monitor it and see how it's working for me. If I didn't want to eat bread because I felt like there was some extra weight I was holding on to, and I wanted to release that. And it's not just releasing the weight, it's releasing the baggage that comes with it. There's a more spiritual meaning behind that. And I don't know all of it, but I know that I want to release it, and I've been working on releasing it. And I do make small wins here and there, but then I tend to go back to old patterns. So I'm asking myself, why do I go back to old patterns? So part of this exercise for you today is, 1, to identify what it is you want to change. 2, to make a small change, like something that is attainable, even if it's for a minute a day, or, just like take a little bit of sugar out of your coffee. Instead of having 1 teaspoon of sugar, have a half a teaspoon. Whatever that means to you, take one small step. And then 3, ask, why do you want to do this? Ask yourself that, and really write down what it is. What is a reason behind it? Do you feel like you don't need it? It's not serving you? Why isn't it serving you? Like, just go into it for yourself. It's not about a trauma. It's not about this or that. It's just about, maybe it's just because it's going to make me happier, and then I would have to say, why is it going to make you happier? Because you just feel lighter. You feel more connected. Maybe you feel more grounded. Maybe you just sleep better. Like, it could just be very practical things. And that could go into a deeper inquiry over time. But when we get into a pattern of inquiry, of self-inquiry, we're going to know the reasons why we do things, and it's going to refine our processes, and it's going to make our relationship with ourselves better. And when we have a better relationship with ourselves, we have a better relationship with other people. So I feel like everything begins within us. And the more that we can be the best versions of ourselves, whatever that means for us, the more that we can show up for ourselves and the world. Because essentially we're all composites of this universe. We're all energy. So if we're, you know, exuding the best energy that we can, we not only receive it, but we influence others to also be in really good energy. And it's not by sharing it, you know, it could be by words, it could be by your art, it could be by your music, it could be just by your happiness that you're smiling. You know, it could be many different things. So feel into what that means for you, because I really feel like we're all on this planet to make it a better place. And if we step into that, you know, best version of ourselves, that's how we're making it better. You know, if we didn't have these beautiful artists in our lives, or even artists that help us to ask deeper questions of ourselves, we wouldn't be the people that we are today. So the more that we put our best foot forward without fear, then we're really stepping into deeper love of ourselves and our trust in the infinite oneness in the universe. And so, you know, when we can ask ourselves, what would we like our life to be like? And even just ask your angels or God, like, how can I do that? Show me the way. Show me the first step. If we don't even know how to answer these 3 questions, show me the first step. I don't know. Help me. And help will come. It came to me in a variety of different ways this past week, and I just kind of shifted my whole mindset and was like, okay, you know, if I know this to be true, I know that I'm you know, destined to have a divine partnership. I know that I'm destined for infinite abundance in all areas of my life. Show me how. Allow me to take the opportunities and let me receive. Allow me to receive. And that is exactly what's happening to me, you know, without much thought, you know, with just being in the moment, being in the present, and allowing God to move through me. And I feel like that is also an important point, is to allow your divinity to move through you. If you're resonating with me, I believe that you agree with me, or even if you don't agree with me, there is a force within us that is not explainable. And so when we allow that force, even if you just want to talk about flow, when we allow ourselves to flow, things happen for our own good, you know, for things that we really desire happen because we allow them to. Just think about all the things that have happened for you when you allowed it to. And if there's something happening for you that's not something that you like really feel into what is it that you really want? You know, just imagine that. And then allow the different pieces of your path to emerge. Part of this journey into the 5D, into the new earth, is closing your eyes and allowing it to happen. You know, we cannot control. We must surrender. And surrendering means everything, our minds, our hearts, everything to our higher self, and allowing things to happen with the, you know, the vision in mind. Having that clarity of vision is ultimately important. You know, think about anybody, you know, any person, maybe they're well, maybe they're not well, they want to change their life. They have a vision of how they want to be. You know, any entrepreneur that's been very successful, they have a vision of how they want to be, and then it starts to emerge, and then they begin to create processes, and then things just start to happen. But it begins with planning, it begins with daydreaming, it begins with a vision. So when you focus on your vision, you'll allow your creative life force energy to lead you. And it's not just a drudgery of the process, it's also allowing the creativity to take you into inspired action. And this is something that I've been studying for a long time. I know this mentally, and I used to use it, but then I would go back and I'd be like, you know, I tried these things, it would work, and then I would go back into self-sabotaging habits. So now I catch myself I'm like, listen, this thought pattern doesn't work for me anymore. It's not going to help me to think negatively in order for me to move forward. So I'm just not going to think that way anymore. I'm just going to start to retrain my mind to think more positively, to be in the flow, to believe in myself, to just believe in myself and to say, I believe in me. I believe in my dreams and my dreams are coming true. I just say that to myself all the time whenever I feel that slight doubt or whenever I'm just in that state of, well, I don't know, I move into that feeling, into that thought pattern, into that story of I may not know, but I know how I want to feel. So I'm just going to focus on how I want to feel. I want to feel good about myself. I want to believe in myself. I want to believe that I'm successful because I am. Because I am. I don't need proof. No one's asking me for proof, and I don't need to ask myself for proof. Because I am, I know that it will happen. And that's a huge leap of faith, but I think that when we have these processes in place, like it's telling yourself, putting it into your calendar, reminding yourself, focusing on your vision, taking these inspired actions, then it becomes like autopilot consciously. You're consciously shifting your life, and it just will continue to up level because you have that strong foundation of how you shifted. And knowing that, it helps to shift more and higher with others, because then you can share that with others. You can do it together. You can consciously love. You can consciously create. You can consciously be you, in bliss. And I feel like at least that's what I always wanted. And I know that it's now attainable because I'm allowing it to be. And I really do feel like all of the energies are assisting me with that, but it's also all of the inner work that I have done and the, old patterns that I've let go of that's helped me to come to this space. So if you're desiring some assistance in really grounding this new energy, of really grounding this mode of self-inquiry, I'm encouraging you to come to my new moon activation in Libra on October 6th at 7 p.m. Israel time, 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, and I think it's 9:30 p.m. India time and 5 p.m. UK time. So, I feel like when we do this in intimate sacred circles, we are able to up level together and shift our vibrations together. I will do some sharing with you, and I'll ask you to share, which is why I keep it intimate and small. And I will also do a visualization meditation with quantum healing to help you to heal some core inner wounds. So I'm inviting you to come. I am inviting you to step into self-inquiry, into deep, deep daydreaming and visioning of your best life, and really surrendering and allowing the divinity work through you so that you're not spinning your wheels trying to figure out something that is sometimes beyond our mental capacity. We have to just allow it to happen and believe it will. And that in and of itself is a huge celebration. It's a huge shift in our thinking to believe and to have faith and to know that whatever we're desiring is already here for us. And it's just a different way of thinking, and it is a paradigm that is necessary in the new earth. So I wanted to thank you for being here today. The details about the new moon activation will be in the notes. And if you are desiring the full moon activation that we did, that will also be there. And more information about me on my website. I'm so glad you're here today. I'm so glad you listened in. If you have any feedback, let me know. It's not as hard as we think it is until, and I feel like the easy part is when we actually allow our minds to believe that we can have what we are desiring, to believe that we are whole, that we are sovereign, that we don't need anything or anyone else to make us feel better. We can do this on our own because because we are. It doesn't have to be a reason. And if you need a reason, you could say because God loves you, or because you are, part of the energetic tapestry of this earth, and you are destined for love. You deserve love. It is your birthright. And when you believe that deeply, everything really does begin to shift. And if you need those techniques, I'll write them down in the details to refer to them, to help you, to give you some structure, because sometimes we need structure to move forward, and it also balances our feminine and masculine energies to be in the flow and also have the structure so that we're moving forward. And again, whatever that masculine energy means to you, or that feminine energy means to you, let yourself go there. Don't hold back. Because if you're holding back, you're holding yourself back, you're holding the planet back. And the only way to move forward is to move into it, even if it is fear, or if it's like it's whatever emotion that it is. Go into it, because if we don't go into it, we're never going to know what it is, and we're always going to be tiptoeing around it. So step in to the wholeness of you. I'm looking forward to seeing you on my new moon activation in Zoom. As soon as you register and pay, you will get the Zoom link. And I'm really excited to be doing this, and I'll be doing this every month. And I'm just excited to be on this journey with you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Namaste, Shanti, Shalom.